stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part 2 of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Aggedor, that's Aggedor, on Mublet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin.
But anyway, all right, so let's have a go at this.
All right.
So you've got legacy money, okay? So it's called fiat currency. And if you go back to the wampum of North America, they valued a good, not a product, a good, because they were shells. In the amount of time it took to get them, that gave them an intrinsic, not an intrinsic value, but a value. So that gave wampum a value because you just couldn't get a hold of a wampum. They were not around. So they needed an exchange mechanism to barter and move forward to create commerce in some way. So rather than swap in potatoes for carrots or labour for something else, they could start to do it with a unit. A fungible unit, right? So we had the wampum, and it was a really wanted thing. It was a desirable thing to have. Mm-hmm. Move on time, several global reserve holders later, ranging from the UK, Portugal, Spain, currently the US, to a fiat monetary system. And how did this start? So first you need a basic understanding in money. So how did it start? The shiny stuff, gold, come into place. People wanted gold. Mm-hmm. And with this, you had a physical element and it was desirable. So, and what makes it desirable is perceived desirability, isn't it? If everybody around you says you've got to get some of that because that has value. And if you get some of this, you can purchase. It gives you purchasing power. Suddenly the desire starts to grow. And with this, so then they started, you would put your gold into someone who had a safe. And then they would give you a receipt for that gold, which later become the notes, the greenbacks, the pounds, the dollars, the yens, the euros. Mm-hmm. They were IOUs. And you could walk in and get your gold back from any gold holder, which centralized gold holding. That's where a central bank comes from. So, okay, so we've got an IOU. You walk in, you say, I'd like my ounce of gold back, thanks. Give them the IOU. Boom, you've got your ounce of gold. And that was your tradable commodity. Then somebody thought, all right, so we can still use this as a monetary system and maintain perceived value, but actually take away the gold element of it, which they did. Yeah. Fiat currency, none of which have been successful. So then that brings us into fiat currency, the paper money that isn't backed by anything, which I'm sure everybody knows. So bringing up to current day with the cryptocurrency, to your question, right? If you went to an older person and said, what would you sooner have, gold or crypto? The older person is probably going to say gold. Mm-hmm. But if you go to a youngster and say to them, do you want gold or Bitcoin? They may well say Bitcoin. So what gives Bitcoin the value? I'm going to use Bitcoin, okay? Sure. Because the phrase cryptocurrency does not describe all the cryptocurrencies because they're different. Right. The key words that are in play here are permissionless, decentralized, blockchain ledger. Permissionless, so you can be a really good person or a really bad person and you can still use this. You don't need permission. Mm-hmm. Decentralized means it hasn't followed the models of old where culture distills power to a central point and it becomes corrupt. So it's a different model from that. It's decentralized. There is no central point of power. You've got the blockchain element, which is the protocol, which is a very simple thing, actually. And then you've got ledger, which is just writing down. So you've got that element of it, okay? The value comes from Bitcoin because you can't inflate the value out of it. So what happened? So it's only 9 or 10 years old. And so this Satoshi Nakamoto wrote a white paper on the way this works. People saw it as a possible money. because people always see money as state money, don't they? This is approved by the big brother,
Right.
so we're okay. We can use this one. Bitcoin is definitely not, and if it had a front door, it would have been kicked in now by the powers that shouldn't be.
Right.
So you've got this Bitcoin, and you can't inflate value out of it. You can't print anymore. And if you do manage to achieve desirability, which is definitely happening, 9 years ago, it was under a cent. There was people going around in New York buying a pizza for 9,000 Bitcoin.
Right.
And today it's about 8 or 10,000 US is its worth over 10 years. In the monetary world, that's a tiny amount of time.
Right.
So now I think it's safe to say there is a perceived value in Bitcoin, and it can't be inflated, which is all that means. As desirability grows, it just goes up in value, and nobody can devalue it. I hope that helps.
I think it does, especially from an independence-minded person's point of view, because we've all, of course, heard the conspiracy theories about the banks and all of this, and the thing is that all of that is surrounding what one might term old money, which is money based on things like gold and things that you can hold in your hand, or approved surrogates for gold or other valuable commodities. Right. The thing that attracts me the most about this, I have to say, is that you can't print any more of it, because this is something that is a worry to people who are watching the news, not only, I'm sure, here in the United States, but elsewhere around the world, is that governments are continually printing more and more money that is becoming more and more worthless, and playing this kind of shell game with funny money. So this could actually wind up being a hedge against a possible collapse, at least as far as I can tell. And listen, Rhea, I didn't mean to bring to have you come on the show and go to work. I just wanted to kind of tap your brain, because you seem to have a really nice one. And if you don't mind, what I'd like to do, Jeff is still trying to get back in. Apparently he's still having trouble.
Bless him.
Yeah, I know, Jeff. We're really sorry, brother. We know you want to be here. Just keep on trying, my friend, and we'll keep on trying to keep the show going for you. Rhea, if you'd like to, I want to play a little tune, because I know you like to play tunes on Sunday Long Live Radio. And we'll come back after that and talk about media, and then maybe run through a few fun stories. What do you think?
Totally. So let me just say one thing, rounding off the cryptocurrency thing, because it's really important.
Okay.
Is Bitcoin is not debt-based. You don't incur debt by default. When you spend money, dollars, pounds, sterling, whatever, soon as it leaves the central bank in the form of a bond, it occurs around 1.75 to 2% interest. So by default, people's money has debt attached to it, which you have to pay. Bitcoin doesn't do that. It's not a debt-based currency. So just think about this, lovelies. Have you got some debt going on? You have sort of by default to move forward in society. That's not the way cryptocurrency works. Leading to, I have a cryptocurrency Telegram page, channel, if you like, and I'm positioning it for beginners, absolute beginners that are grasping concepts and paradigms and so on. So, because crypto is quite hard to get across in one sentence, so hopefully it helped. But I do have a Telegram channel for people that are brand new to it, Dave.
Beautiful. That's great. And everyone, please do check that out. We will, of course, get into getting all your contact information and everything like that before the show ends. Actually, to heck with that. Rhea, if you'd like, before we jump into this little tune that we're going to play here, would you like to tell the people right off the bat where they can locate you? And Jeff, can you hear us now? Let's just do that first. Can you hear us, Jeff? Jeff, are you hearing us? Okay, evidently Jeff is not hearing us. So Rhea, could you please tell people right at this moment how they can hear you, where they can contact you, your websites, contact points, that sort of thing that you'd like to put out there?
Sure, just type in your browser WBN324. That's the World Broadcasting Network, WBN324. You'll find links to the live feeds, to our chat room, which is really a rather lovely place to be. If you want to listen to it on a video platform, it's on most of them, I think, but probably the one we use as the face. Just type in Ria Bo D Live, D for Delta, Ria Bo D Live, but probably WBN324, and you're going to find your way to us at some point. There's administrators there that are gonna pick you up and guide you in and help you out, Dave.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll try and get that to again from you before you leave from us. But for now, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll give you a chance for a bit of a break, give me a chance for a bit of a break, hopefully give Jeff a chance to sort things out and get into where he can hear us. And we're going to play a little bit of a tune here. This is one that some people might find offensive. But you know what, Ria? My family, some of them grew up around Tahlequah, Oklahoma. So I can play this if some other people can't. So guys, this is going to take about 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Please refresh your drinks and things like that, and then you can come back and join us with Ria Bo here on the English Defense League radio show. Here we go. Here are the Cowsills.
Just keep it in mind if you're looking to find a place in the summer sun. Swim in the cove, have a smack in the grove, or you can rent a cuckoo.
Well, I think I'm back.
Jeff?
Am I back now?
Jeff, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Jeff?
Or am I?
Okay, Jeff is not able to hear us. Everyone, welcome back to the English Defense League radio show with your host, Jeff Spider Mitchell. And, yes, we are here with Ria Bo of the World Broadcasting Network. And, Ria, hope you enjoyed that little tune. Now, let's get into media a little bit. After doing some financial reporting, you decided to start your own media outlet. Would you like to walk us through that just a little bit?
I can do if you want me to. It's called the World Broadcasting Network. I was on radio for a while, started out in New York. I was a show format writer. Mm-hmm. So long story short, I had my formal career. So I've got this formal side and a hippie side. That's sort of the deal, really.
Groovy.
And the formal side, I'd climbed the ladder. I'd become a group CEO. I was running 3 companies, blah, 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 blah. One day I went, do you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Where do you go from there? That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Do something new. I got into broadcasting. I was a show format writer and an economics reporter. Then I ended up as a co-host out of New York. Then another co-host based in Canada. And then I thought, okay, I can see a gap in the market with what's going on. There's loads of, to use trad terminology, there's loads of red pill information, content out there for people that are kind of woken up to the fact that things maybe aren't as good as they could be. That's pretty vague, right? But there's loads of content out there for people that are switched on and they want to go looking for it. But there really was nothing in the position for people that were brand new to it, really. Because if you take a person as, you know, they're working hard, they're putting food on the table, they catch the 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock news, and that's it. They're not maybe as formed as they could be, maybe even politically apathetic. And I wanted to get that person there. So if they came across Sunday Long Live, it would fit the format. There was nothing heavy. It was not extreme. And I wanted to position a network right in that niche there. So if someone's dialing across, they find it, it's palatable, it's respectful to the family unit, there's no swearing, it's all big time tunes that anybody would listen to. So the mission for Sunday Long Live Radio, and it has been from the get-go, is to reach new people, to disseminate the kind of information that you guys know and many others know, but they won't get it on the actual show. They would have to drop into the chat rooms or tune into WBN 324 over the weekend to find out more. But it was to reach new people, Zave.
Oh, well, you know what? I love that. Now, I say this of the SHR Media Network, which I'm a part of, and once in a while when I'm posting my own show, The Unpleasant Blind Guy, I'll put it at the bottom as a little tagline, "It's your world at SHR Media." And what I mean by that, and you're expanding on that, by the way, is that this new media where, as you said, people are waking up and understanding that there is definitely something wrong going on, has something for everyone. You have all sorts of hosts from all sorts of backgrounds that are presenting these truths in many ways. And I do have to say to you that I like the style of Sunday Long Live Radio. I've heard a bit of it. You're a great interviewer, by the way. Heard your interview with Jeff, and it's great. We played it on here. And this is something I think that is really vital. It needs to be done because there are a lot of people out there. I like the way you described it. They're not necessarily, they don't necessarily want to be mentally lazy. It's just that they don't have the time. As you say, they may get some news in the morning drive to work. They'll hear this and that around the water cooler, so to speak. They get home and they might catch some news with their dinner, and then maybe here in the States, they might catch the 11 o'clock news or the 10 o'clock news, and then they go to sleep, but that's all they have time for. It's about what they have to do to keep on raising their families and keep their lives going. They're not news junkies because they can't afford to be news junkies. So it is really great to see another rising platform that people can have and people can access. It's comfortable for them. And I think that's what you're aiming for. Am I right?
Spot on. You can just have it on in the kitchen. I think one thing that seriously gets overlooked, and I identified early, was old media, which I love. Old school radio was a one-way thing. You put your wireless on and you had this thing on in the background, and you allowed somebody or a brand of some kind into your life on a pretty ongoing place on an ongoing basis. It's not like a podcast where you click a button and you're involved with it for however long. The radio stations can be on, all day long, and that was what you got. But it was a one-way thing, and with the birth of the internet, it became a two-way thing. And I just think that is an amazing thing. My favorite part of what I do on a Sunday is reading out people's chat. It's too early. My time slot is too early for the US. Really, it's 5 a.m. Eastern Standard.
I got that right.
Yeah, right, totally. So it's pretty much English, European, Aussie kind of crowd on there because it's their time spots. And I just read out the chat, and they are seriously involved in the show. And I don't go on from the point of view that, hey, I know loads of stuff. I come on with many minds are better than one. Here's an article. Let's talk about it. And I'm harnessing that two-way thing. And that is just the golden egg for me, the fact that someone, and they are on from all over the world, and they'll have opinions on what's being said and so on. So that's what I love, and that's what I wanted to harness the most outside of super HD audio, which I deal in because I have a sound engineering background, so the audio is pretty good. The next best thing then is getting that live chat and getting to know the people in the live chat, Dave.
Oh yeah, well, your audio is first rate, and I have to say, I'm digging that like a robber baron digging a strip mine. It's really great. The interaction that's involved. Some of the best hosts that I've heard got onto that immediately. There was one guy I'll tell you about. He calls himself Small G Gay. He did the Small G Gay report, and this was years ago. And he started just telling people, hey, if you want to talk about the show, just get on Twitter and I'll check it there. And he did, and it really added an extra dimension to his show. He wasn't just sitting there pontificating to everyone sadly, like I do, because when I do the Unpleasant Blind Guy, because I do a pre-recorded show. That's kind of, in a way, why I'm glad I'm here helping out Jeff with EDL Radio, because we have our chat room here at Blog Talk Radio, and people can get in and they can interact with us. All right, but it's different when people can get involved, because you can learn from anybody, I think. And that is communicated, I think, to an audience. And I think the audience loves it because, as you said, when mass media started out, obviously with newspapers and radio and TV and things of that nature, it was one way. And I think that a lot of people really felt like they were, if not ignored, not involved. And now I think they feel like they are involved. And I really think that adds a completely new and different dimension to it that's very much appreciated. Do you agree?
Absolutely. A lot, I say a lot, quite a few people that are in the chat. You don't see them so much. That they're behind us are these chat rooms. So the one thing I've had to do, because we go across on so many platforms and radio networks, is it has to come into one place. Otherwise, I just wouldn't have enough screens to be able to handle all the messages. So they have to be filtered down, distilled down into one place. And we use D Live for that. So if you want your messages read out, I'll read them out. You need to type in Reabo D Live, and that's where the messages get read out. But there are other chat rooms running and they talk amongst themselves. But I've made a decision not to be, I can't see those. I don't want to see those. I'm just going to pick them up from this one area. Because so there's sort of two lots of chat. There's one lot of chat that I pick up on and is read out, and that's why they're there. And then there's another lot of chat where they're just chatting amongst themselves while they drink a cup of coffee in the morning or something. So for me, you're right, Dave, it is absolutely key that, because you think if you or I are out there on the radio and I'm giving my point of view, that's just my point of view, right? But if people start hearing genuine people writing in and what they write, that's just adding more substance to the value proposition is much better for the end user, Dave, to sound a bit businessy.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it is a lot different, than my format of the Unpleasant Blind Guy when I just do it solo as the Unpleasant Blind Guy. The best I can possibly do is have them get onto UBG Contact on Twitter or one of the other places they can get hold of me. And then maybe on the next show, I can say, well, I received a message from Miss Wanda Kaminsky of Walla Walla, Washington, and she says, Dave, you're a dummy. And then I can respond, but it's not quite the same. It's interactive and it's right now, and that's another thing that we like in Western civilization. We like everything right now, and that's why I think it's so great. So obviously, I'm wishing you all the best because it's another voice, it's another set of voices. And before we get into doing a few fun stories, I just want to tell you, I really hope that, you just go from success to success with this, because I'm really digging on the formula, I have to say.
And that is it for this time. Next time, part 3. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye.
The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2019. Anno Domini. Now for Dave's Canes. Extras that help you navigate the new media world.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics,
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.